Today, Lance and I are making the drive from the shop in Seattle's Fremont neighborhood all the way down to Tacoma, which on a good day is around 45 minutes away. But with traffic, it's anyone's guess. The reason for our trip? We're on our way to the Tacoma Guitar Festival. It's a place where shops can show off a little, trot out some of our most prized and interesting gear, put a face to the name, and people who may not be able to make it up to our shop get to see what we're all about. It's also highly likely that we'll leave with some new inventory for the shop, so do look forward to that. And if we're lucky, we'll sell something.
Did we sell anything?
We did not sell anything.
We arrive at Load-In and meet up with shop owner Mike B, who you know from our other videos, and Jake, the Guitar Bar's mysterious fourth mic. It's time to set up a booth. We tear into the 21 guitar stands we just bought, a special thank you to American Music, assemble them, and try to make something presentable out of 2 folding tables and a couple of dark cloths. With the stands set up, we take instruments from their cases and place them on the closest stand, knowing full well that Mike B is going to rearrange all of them. There's just no way around that. There's also no surefire way to make an attractive and inviting booth. It really just comes down to framing the gear in a pleasing manner. Incidentally, we have a banner with our name on it, but we have no idea where it went. We have this big Guitar Bar sign and yeah, it vanished. It's probably tucked away somewhere safe, which means we'll never find it. But no matter, who needs a sign when you have gear? And boy, do we have gear. This year, we brought along 2 60s harmonies, a Most Right Ventures model, a cool 1990 Music Man Sabre, a 68 Fender Jazz bass, and a 66 Fender Precision, a 67 Mustang bass, a blue 65 Mustang, a white 89 Les Paul Custom, a 97 Custom Shop SG, 50s Gibsons, a lovely 62 330, and of course, a 63 Jaguar and an ash-bodied 62 Jazzmaster fresh from a blonde Danicaster refin. And you know what? At the end of everything, I think the booth looks really good. Sure, there's a lot of black cloth, not much to look at, but the gear we brought is exceptional. We've got some pieces in there that are really interesting and fun to look at, even more fun to play. I also want to say that the way we arranged everything really worked. You know, the way the guitars kind of face inwards so the booth works no matter which angle you're approaching from. It's a really smart look, and I think that among the other presenters, we were among the best. That's just my humble opinion. Take it or leave it. I think we looked pretty darn good. Now, what's different about the show this year is that this time around, we're actually presenting. You see, in the last few years, we really haven't brought a lot of stuff because we mainly go to acquire new guitars to sell in the shop. That's the main draw for us. Now, you may not know this, but for a shop, there's a lot that happens before the show actually opens. I'd say that a good 70 or 80% of the things that we buy come from other shops on Friday night when everyone's loading in. We all walk around, we greet our old friends, we hang out, we catch up, we check out the inventory, and then the deals just start happening. Trades, buys, you name it. I think this is actually Mike's favorite part of the whole show. And look, Jake found a tarp that he likes.
December 63 tarp, looks like. You can tell.
Top quality tarp.
Top quality tarp.
Top quality tarpage.
And honest to goodness, I was this close to taking home that poster of Spock playing the Vulcan lute. Within the guitar community and many others like it, I'm certain, there's been a lot of discussion revolving around the fate of the trade show. Will it continue to survive? Is it even worth doing as a shop? And what with so many of the major brands skipping NAMM as of late, well, that conversation has only grown louder. And look, I get it. Guitar fests are a lot of work. Surely for the promoters, but also for the shops involved. I mean, it took us about 4 hours to pack up for this gig, tracking down the guitars, getting the right case, inspecting the guitars, grabbing and packing the van. Then we drove there. We got into the hotel rooms. We set up. I suspect that anyone who's done a show like this will agree that it is a lot of work. but I say it's also a lot of fun. The whole point of the thing isn't to simply come gawk at guitars, it's about the community that's sprung up around them. The Tacoma Guitar Festival has been going on for years, and it has a lot to offer attendees, including a drum room, freebies at the front desk, musical performances, raffles, and of course, the vendors and merchants that show up. It's a bit smaller than it used to be. I remember how we used to fill the room. Walking around, there's still plenty to see. Our friends at Guitar Maniacs had an excellent booth as always, filled with old Gibsons and some choice Fenders. Rick King is one of the best guys in the business, and we are such big fans of his. Next door to him was guitar refinishing legend Gord Miller, in from Canada. If you haven't seen Gord's work, he is one of those artists who knows exactly how to make a finish look old in all of the right ways. And I'm not just talking about simulated wear, it's the colors, it's the way his metallic finishes lay down on a body, his checking, his dead-on ambering of the clear coat. He is a miracle worker. We were also pleased and relieved to see our good friend and contemporary Frank Gross of Thunder Road. We opened up shop at just about the same time as Frank, supporting each other as we figured out how to own and operate a business. And as usual, he brought a ton of great stuff along with him, and it was great to catch up. There's also novelty booths, purveyors of pickups and straps and parts bins galore, and even a few that I don't actually know what exactly they're offering. Music Lord, what are you? Coming back to the main draw of the show, that's acquiring new guitars, amps, effects, all of it. That's what we live for. And as you'd expect, we made a few purchases during the show that we are really excited about. Take this thing, for instance.
We bought a 72 Giannini Craviola. Sounds Italian, it's Brazilian, and is constructed from Brazilian rosewood. Has this beautiful Italian tort, cool spruce top, as featured on the Lemon song by Led Zeppelin. May have heard of them.
Wait, for real?
Yep. It's got this cool sort of gross looking knob for the stock pickup. And it's great.
What is the value on something like this?
These aren't worth too much. It'll probably land somewhere around $1,000, maybe a little over, but we paid enough to give us a little room to work with it and make it beautiful and perfectly playable for the next owner.
It looks like the original case, I'm assuming?
It is indeed, which in and of itself is quite rare. Gotta love the kidney shape.
Shit.
But yeah, super fun. I approve.
Now, we definitely ended up going home with a lot more gear than what we brought originally, and we'll tell you all about that later. But I want to point out that sometimes a deal just can't work, and that was the case with this 60s Fender Coronado bass, refinished in white and initially very interesting to us. A few shows back, we actually bought a lovely 68 jazz bass from the owner of this same Coronado, and the gentleman who owns it is lovely, somebody who we really enjoy talking to, and we spent a great deal of time with him during the show. But sadly, this thing was just not in the best condition.
Mike didn't like the bridge swap on it, and it also needs a refret pretty badly. So I was missing one, but there was several that were lifting, and just we're not happy. But,
Cost prohibitive? Or just...
Yeah, it really wouldn't have penciled out. It would just be like kind of moving money around at the end of the day. My hope was that it had original finish underneath that white, because that looked kind of like a Rallican finish.
No chance?
So like sometimes you get into something like that, and you're like, oh, we can just get rid of this, and then we have like a viable, cool finish underneath.
So, I think we will probably pass on this one. I'll tell you the reasons why.
Okay.
The bridge posts that hold the bridge have been replaced. If you wanted to make it original again, you'd have to refill that drill. And then it does need a refret also. Probably just not the project that we would take on right now.
Okay.
I really appreciate you letting us take such a close look and everything.
At the end of everything, my favorite part of the show was walking around and running into some people who were customers of ours back in the days before we actually had a shop location, when we were in the basement garage of Mike B's home. But it's not just about what I enjoyed. Let's hear what Jake has to say about the show.
What are you seeing here that you're enjoying?
friends, good eats, good music.
The eats are not so good, I do want to report. Jake, what guitars did you see here that you were excited about?
Well, I was excited about the 1956 Guild Aristocrat. That's pretty clean, if I must say so myself.
So Jake, what are you so excited about with the Aristocrat?
That it's a Guild Aristocrat.
That's fascinating. What can you tell me about the Guild Aristocrat?
Well, they're largely a hollow body, or drilled out in some way. They're incredibly light, they're very resonant, and it's 50s Guild goodness we all know and love.
Jake, what am I looking at?
You're looking at a 3/4 B25. It's a 22-inch scale length Gibson B25. I like guitars with short scale lengths because they're niche-y and fun.
They're Nietzsche?
Yeah, they're Friedrich Nietzsche.
Nietzsche has an S in it, and it still has the plastic bridge, which is fascinating.
Sometimes that's the second best bridge you can get for this.
What is the first best?
Oh, replacing with a bone and a wooden rosewood bridge.
Agreed.
And what about Lance?
How was it for you? How was the show?
It was good. Actually met a lot of people in the greater guitar community that I had not crossed paths with before, and that was kind of cool. Some great builders that I have admired for a while. That was nice. Just kind of getting a sense of what people have been hanging on to since the last one. Mostly just talking to people and turning them onto the shop. And I definitely met a lot of folks who had never been to the shop or weren't familiar, but were really stoked on our inventory. So that was the most positive aspect.
Did we sell anything?
We did not sell anything.
Did we buy anything?
We did buy some things. All in all, a win. Some cool things that we never would have come across otherwise. Meeting cool people. It was good.
As the show wound down, we packed up our gear, tore down our tables, got to the van, and made our way home. Shockingly, we made it back to the shop before closing, so thankfully we had a little help this time from Seth, Jordan, and Sam. Together, we carted everything back into the shop and took stock of what we'd brought back with us.
Hey, all right, would you clap for me? Yeah, that's helpful, thank you. What did we come home with?
To start, nice early AVRI 62 reissue Strat, Mary Kay Blonde, lovely. This nice Harmony, serviceable, cupcakes.
Does that need anything?
Strings cleanup. Should be good. Next up, we have a nice 30s Washburn Parlor, Brazilian rosewood. Refinished, but very clean and serviceable. It'll need a neck reset and just some simple maintenance before it's able to be listed, but it's lovely. Next up, a fun one, a very clean and complete PVT 40 for a friend. Oft maligned, but super cool. Love the pickups. They're nice and heavy, so you have to be sure of shoulder, but these are really excellent.
What's
And
the weight like on this one?
a lot. 12 pounds, maybe. Maybe a little less, but they're awful heavy. But man, they sound so good. And it already has a home.
Already has a home.
Already has a home, and it'll be a loving one. Bought it with someone in mind. Next, this is kind of like not what you would expect out of a custom, but this beautiful flame top Les Paul custom. I don't remember what year this is. Maybe a 90s one? Yeah, 98 flame top custom. Kind of breaking up the monotony of our usual Les Paul custom lineup. Not that they, we love a Les Paul custom, but you don't see this every day. Yeah, this is sick. This is a Seth thing, well, no doubt. Nice custom craft, sort of Jupiter. I don't know what model number this is, I can't recall, but it's lovely. The rope binding is so cool. Love the custom craft label. Lovely with this very clean original chipboard case. Super cool. I think this was the first thing that we got at the show today. Very sweet. 66 Vibrochamp.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, nice and smoked out, but otherwise very original. Yeah, it's lovely.
Wow.
Love these guys. Deluxe Reverb 65 reissue in blonde.
Ooh, nice.
Just couldn't pass it up. They're cool in blonde, and
blonde.
everybody needs a Deluxe Reverb.
Well, that about wraps up the video and everything that we took home from the guitar show. If you happen to be interested in any of those items as well as any of the others we have available for purchase, please visit mmguitarbar.com and stay tuned for more videos.